Okay, welcome to Order Control, the first real-time order and production management system designed specifically for the garments, gifts and promotional industries, and now modified for the textile industry too. I'm going to show you a short demo of what the software is all about, and with this you should get a good idea of what's possible with this application. So, let's start off by logging in. To start, the program is broken down into four main sections: admin, quotes, orders, and workflow. This is a fully role-based and access-driven application, so you will only be able to see the menu items that you've been granted access to. Because I am logged in as a super admin, I get to see all the menu options, but these will be hidden or displayed according to the role you are assigned to. On the admin side, this is where you administer users and roles, manage all your pricing for products and branding, manage your customers, suppliers, email templates and reminders. You also get to administer products, categories, sizes, weights and much more. This is a fully fledged CRM system, so you have full management of your customers and all their contacts. From the product side, you have full integration into some of the major South African suppliers like Amrod, KMQ, Colmart, Kevro, Lumos, Trade Only and Wizard. But there is no limit to the suppliers that you use. Simply import their full product and price list using our easy-to-use Excel template. The integration that we do with the suppliers is we import their full product and price list with images using your customer-specific pricing. Moving to quotes, this is where everything starts. Create a new quote, search for quotes, view your list of current quotes and your quote history, and repeat a quote with one click. On the Orders tab, search for an order, view your list of current orders and your order history, and repeat an order. And then on the Workflow tab, complete your action list, which is your customized workflow process, complete production tasks, receive stock in, dispatch stock out, print purchase orders to suppliers, and check which deposits have been paid, as well as view complaints. Right, so it all starts with a quote. I'm not going to show you every step of this process, as this is meant to be a short demo, but I will go over most of the important points. So we go to quotes, new quote. Now I'm going to open up an existing quote so that you can see all the details that have already been captured. So start by entering your customer name, and then by starting to type, the system will complete the name and all contact details for that customer. You can capture a new customer on the fly by just completing all these details and click save, as well as capture new contact details on the fly, and you can categorize them as well. You can have multiple contacts per customer because, as we all know, not all quotes go to the same person in that company. Moving on to this side, specify delivery instructions, and there is a cost associated with each one. Specify delivery date and time, as well as a deadline date. You can specify samples and packing instructions, but this button over here, click this if you want to automatically attach any product images for each line item in the quote from the supplier you have selected. This will then send the images in an auto-generated email along with the quote from your email address without you having to type a word. You also have the option of attaching any other files to the email. So now in product details, select your supplier. Remember, we integrate with a number of major suppliers as mentioned before, so the system will come preloaded with all their products and images with your customer specific price structure, so you never have to look up pricing again. And of course you can load any other suppliers that you want to use. There aren't any limitations whatsoever. Categories will be filtered by supplier. Then select your product. You can type in code or description and it'll start filtering. Choose your size, weight and color options. Only those options that are available will be shown to you. Specify your quantity. Cost and selling price are automatically filled in, but there is the option to override this if you want. Add a line item note and click the add button to add it to your list of products. Repeat this process for as many products as you want from as many suppliers as you want. To add branding instructions for each line item, click the Branding Details button. Select the number of positions that will be branded for this item, up to 10, and for each position, choose the number of colors, up to 10 colors per position, what position you'll be branding on, and the effect you will be using. You can add as many effects as you wish and associate a cost for each one if branding is done in-house. If not, then select the supplier that will be doing the branding and a cost and selling price for the branding. This screen also displays the full Pantone book of colors, so you can choose which exact color needs to be branded. If you don't know this information at this point, it can be completed later. Repeat this process for each line item in the quote. If the next line item has the same or very similar branding instructions, simply click the repeat button and change whatever details you need to, if any. When you're done, click save and the quote will be generated. You now have the option to send this quote, along with any attachments like product images, automatically in a personalized email from your email address that doesn't require any input from you whatsoever. As part of the implementation process, we will customize these forms with your logos, your terms and conditions, with your color scheme, and that's all included in the implementation price. Now that this quote is done, it goes on to the current quotes list. This is where you see all the quotes in the system that have not been converted to an order yet. You can filter by any of these columns by simply typing under each heading. You can also group by any of these columns by dragging the heading to the group bar. Here you can start having sales meetings with your staff to see exactly what each salesperson is busy with. So drag the rep name up and view all the quotes for each rep. From this list, you can view the quote, which we'll get to in a minute. You can reject the quote, which moves the quote off this list and goes onto the quote history list, so it never disappears off the system. You can add a comment, which date and timestamps the comment and shows which user made the comment. You can repeat the quote with just one click, which simply creates an exact copy of the quote with just a new quote number. You can change the status of the quote to either hot, meaning the customer wants it, cold, meaning they don't want it, so it moves it off this list, or follow up, which is the default status. You can send the quote again with just one click, which then goes and sends a predefined email with the quote attached. And you can send a follow-up. Clicking this button sends another predefined follow-up email to the customer with a quote attached without you having to type out the email each time. It then date and timestamps the follow-up sent column, so you can see exactly who has sent quotes and follow-ups and when they were sent. So you can group by the follow-up column and see all the ones that are blank and simply right-click and choose Send Follow-up. Once the customer has decided to go with this quote, we need to convert the quote to an order. To do this, view the quote, enter a customer order number or PO number, and simply click the Create Order button. This will then convert the quote to an order and give it an order number and date. You can then choose if you want to automatically send this order to the customer in a predefined email template. This order now moves off the current quotes list and onto the current orders list. From here, we can also filter or group by any column, and we can have production meetings with our staff and our suppliers. So, if we drag the supplier column and then the branding column, we can start following up with each supplier's branding department to see exactly where our order is in the process. So we can see Amrod's embroidery department. I have ordered stock, but the stock hasn't been received yet, so I can start following up with the relevant people. Different colored lines mean different things, like orange means a comment has been added, pink means there is a special instruction to be aware of, blue means this is a large order, and yellow means a deposit has been collected, and so on. Once this order has been sent, it needs to be accepted or signed by the customer. So to do this, we open the order and we mark the order as signed. This then changes the status of the order to accepted, and it also generates purchase orders to each supplier that we have selected in our line items. You can choose if you want this PO to be sent automatically, or you can send them manually. So now the real fun starts. What we are trying to achieve here is to move this order through each department in our process. These are the columns we will be focusing on: stock, packing, dispatch, art, production, and accounts. And to move this order through each department, we use the action list. This is your customized workflow process. What processes happen in your company, in what order, and by what department or person. You can completely customize this list to be as big or small as you wish, and for each step of the way, you can set various options. For example, you can choose to attach documents to an action, and you can drag and drop attachments directly from an email without having to save them first, like deposit slips or artwork. You can have an extra field for an action, like a GRN number or an invoice number. You can have a drop-down list of users, like which printer was responsible for this action. You can lock each action down so only the role that is responsible for this action will be able to tick it. And for each action, you can set it that an email gets automatically sent once the action is ticked. This can be internally so that the next department is notified that the order is ready for their action, or even to the customer so that they get notified of that action. For example, you can generate a pro forma invoice from the system automatically, and the customer will receive this in their inbox without you having done a thing except tick the action. Your artist can attach artwork and send it to the customer directly from here and simply wait for approval. Then you can view the artwork at any time. The action list becomes your Dropbox for all things related to this order. Any attachments, including the order itself, are added here, some automatically and some manually. So you can at any time come into the action list and view any related documents. You can also send the current progress of the job to your customer by simply clicking the send button, and it will send the following report, outlining exactly what actions have been done, by whom, and when. We also integrate directly with Pastel and QuickBooks, so you get to choose which action creates the purchase order or sales order in your accounting package without having to duplicate a thing. Once you check each action, it then updates the current orders list so you can see exactly where the order is in each step of the process. Now each department can filter by their column and see what's outstanding or what should be the next step. For example, the art department can now drag their column up and view all the sent artwork that hasn't been approved yet, and all they need to do is right-click and say Send Artwork Follow-up, which then sends a predefined email to your customer requesting artwork be approved so that production can commence. The same can happen for the accounts department. Right-click and send a deposit follow-up requesting the deposit be paid before the job can move forward. Once the stock has arrived from your suppliers, you can receive the stock in. Open the receiving note and enter the quantity received in and a supplier invoice number if there is one. You can partial receive just in case not all items arrive at the same time, and then come back in here and receive more when it eventually arrives. This information then pulls through to the dispatch note, where you can now dispatch stock out and print the dispatch note and send it with the finished goods. Again, you can partial dispatch in case not all items are ready to be dispatched, but you still want to send some of the order. You can add customer complaints to an order to keep track of what went wrong and who was responsible for it. Select from a predefined list of reasons, select the category and the action this complaint was for, and add a comment and attachment. It now date and timestamps the complaint with the user that logged the complaint, and this goes on to a current complaints list. View each complaint to see if a common theme arises, like the same supplier or the same department or user. Resolving this complaint moves it off this list and puts it on the complaints history list. This is all access driven as well, so only if you have the correct rights will you be able to view and resolve complaints. Briefly, on the admin side, you can set sales targets for each rep or the whole company per week or per month. This information then pulls through to the sales reports, which I will show you shortly. Customize your action list by adding new actions and defining what each action should do, like attach documents, type in an extra field, have a drop-down of users, send an email, to who it must send, attach the order, and what it should do in the back end. There is an email manager which allows you to create and customize email templates and personalize emails so that they don't look like spam. Add signatures and logos and really make it your own. Set automatic reminders so you don't even need to click the send follow-up buttons. The system will send the email template you choose after a predetermined number of days, after a certain date, to the people you want to send it to. On the reporting side, there are a number of predefined reports which can and will be completely customized with your company logos, colors, and terms and conditions as part of the implementation process. And any report that you don't see here can be created according to your specification. Some examples of reports are sales targets, quote conversions, daily sales, weekly sales, sales by category, order analysis, and many, many more. In conclusion, Order Control is a customizable order and production management system that was designed specifically for your business. We know your industry backwards and know exactly what you need in order to run your business effectively and efficiently. There is so much more that this application does, which I have left out to keep this demo relatively short, but I'd be happy to set up an on-site demo if you would like to see this in more detail. Please see our contact page on our website to get in touch with us or for any further questions. Ciao for now.